He reminds me, maybe we could do a couple recent Huang Rex. I don't know if he's been active. He is on my watch list. What's up, Reese? A whole new set of people coming into the stream now, probably different time zones. Alright. I'm so used to typing chat off that I typed it when there's nobody else here watching this. I'm used to casting the live games. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Twitch is going to send the salutes into YouTube. What's up, guys? Not too long ago, I uploaded a game called Possibly the Best Hun War Ever. And, well, here we are again with another Hun War. And this is a classic game. This is actually sent to me by a viewer, and just want to be very clear. I normally, I'll look at suggestions, but I get so many recs of people wanting to see their matches casted that I normally cannot take requests for it, unless you're a Patreon supporter. But anyway, somebody had said, hey T90, you love classic games, you should check out this classic game as between these two players. I believe this is from 2004-ish, from two of the very best at the time, and so here I am doing it. So thank you very much to Leo for sending that my way. He actually was very persistent. The start for Black Bear, a guy I know very little about. It was very poor. He couldn't find his sheep. But he's dealt with it. He's getting loom, and hopefully he'll be okay. He is in the magenta. And then we have Mystiori, who is a player I've definitely heard a lot about. And he's playing as the Huns in the gray. So Hun Wars were very, very common in the past. Not as common today. I love them. And I loved it when we saw that other game because we got to see just how versatile the Civ is and how crazy it can be. Leo says, I know this game. Great choice. Yeah, Leo. See, he's there. He's there. He's watching us. Okay. Luckily, I can speed it up a little bit. So I think I'll keep it at this speed. And I guess I'll touch on a few things about Hun Wars. You know, chat, as we have new people coming to the community every single day, if you have any questions about this game, about the meta, about the situations, then feel free to ask, and I'll try and touch on that as best I can. But yeah, Hun Wars are very strong because you can see virtually everything. If you play 100 Hun Wars, 25% of them could be scouts, 25% of them could be man-at-arms opening. You could see trash forwards, you can see tower rushes, you can see straight archers and skirms, and then in the Castellades, there's a lot of mobility with knights, cav archers, skirms. You even see pikes, Tarkans, even though people don't feel like it's seen enough. They definitely are seen more than you would think in this Civ mirror matchup. So it's probably the best mirror matchup available in the game, and that's why people like to play it a lot. The legendary Lori, one of the best forward players. Yeah, so I'm not too familiar with the players' reputations, I'll admit that. My game plan was to do a lot of research on this individual game prior, so I could like learn the history of the players, but I didn't have the time to do that today. Can you see champions in Arbalest and Hun Wars? Thought so, Kappa. But anyway, let's talk about the maps. We have Black Bear, and Black Bear's map is pretty solid, I would say. Nice wood line. Wood line that can be used here as well. Main gold, safe. And the main stone also could be safe with the wall here. And then he has a secondary gold, and the third not too far away. Just imagine if he got his T90 walls out, what he could accomplish with some stone walls later on in the game. It's not going to be easy to do that because you'd have to walk quite a long distance, but a wall here, and at the very least just a wall here for early game would secure lots of space and resources. Hey, look at Lori's base then, and there we go. Ooh, that's an awkward main gold. Oh, and the secondary gold's there as well. Yeah, this is a bit awkward because he can't fully saturate the gold. These two piles cannot be surrounded on this side. And then the same thing could apply here. This is actually a pain. Sometimes when you build a mining camp in this situation, your villas will go, oh, I don't want to share this gold. I want a gold all for myself. And they'll walk all the way around to this tile. It could be a pain in the butt. Main stone is pretty decent. Has a massive hill on the right-hand side. So you might need to wall this off. Other gold and stone is forward. So Mystiori's map is definitely not as good as Black Bear's map. Okay, so I'll speed up a little bit. We talked about the maps. We've talked about the Civ. Now, the difference in styles back then were interesting to me. We saw a lot of trash back in the day. A lot of players advancing later than what Mystiori is doing right now. And we saw a lot of spears and skirmishers. It was not your standard scout opening, man-at-arms opening. It's almost like the man-at-arms build was found like years later, because man-at-arms would counter the trash so well, and it would make sense that without man-at-arms being a viable option, you would see trash. And yep, here we go. Here's the forward from Mystiori. So the idea here is to hold all pressure at your opponent's base, forward barracks, and I assume forward archery ranges, and then skirms and spears. So it will definitely be sloppy stuff for both players here. So the feature that user patch added, where I can hold shift and click on a player's building or unit to switch point of views, that's not possible because this game is so old. Luckily the overlay still works. Yeah, I was just gonna say, does Black Bear know this is happening? Because he's building his barracks out here. He must know a forward is coming because he sees the forward barracks from Mystiori. And these villagers still not spotted, but I think Black Bear notices this. Now, I don't know. I was told by Nilly that for many years, like these games that we're watching, players didn't have mods like we do today. They didn't have grid mod. They didn't have small trees even. So it makes things a lot more difficult without those mods. Now here is the forward. And Mystiori building a tower, and you might not think this will offer too much, but what it does do is it forces a defensive tower from Black Bear if he wants to keep his farm space. It's actually quite a good tower if he wants to push in through here as well. And there's the archer range from Black Bear, so he'll go into his own skirmish, but he's behind in that battle now. Nameless Soul seems to know what he's talking about. He says he wrote a very long article sharing his forward thoughts years ago, but it's in Chinese. Flory and Dogao were one of the first guys to do malicious man-at-arms forward. Back then, most did Drush FC and Hun Wars. Yeah, I know Drush FC in general was very common. Thank you for the insight there. Okay, so I'm curious now. I need to ask my chat, as Black Bear definitely does not have the best economy at the moment. Only 4 farms and a lot of these villagers not working. What year did you start following, or even just start playing the game? I'm curious. Because believe it or not, for a game so old, we have a lot of people who are actually new to the game. Like, I am much newer to the game than many might think. I started playing in 2013, but for a game that came out in early 2000, I am quite behind. So when it comes to the pro scene, there's a lot of history that I missed out on. I'm curious if there's anyone in the chat that's actually recent. 2015, okay. Well, okay, this particular game, this one was played, Leo maybe can check on, he's the one who gave me the rec. I couldn't find the link to the rec, I just had it already downloaded. I think this game was played in mid-2000s, like 2005-ish. So that would have made me in 2005, not to make any of you old farts feel old. 2005, I was 12? Yeah, I was 12. So I'm 25 now. I was half of who I am today when this game was played. And you can already see the game's actually quite close, both on 9 military. 1940, okay, invalid username. He must have gotten early release. I learned his style from Halen. Yeah, Halen is a player I'd really like to see return to the game. Yeah, I thought it was 2004. Thank you, Leo. Anyway. 2017. Okay, there's a few people there. There's a few people who played around the time, or started playing around the time, or after me. Anyway, the metagame has changed a lot. You see the walls now coming up for Black Bear. This will help him throughout the game. Very exposed center area of his map. I think I will try and find a more decent speed. There we go. This makes a little bit more sense. This villager is alive. Neither player has fletching just yet. Blacksmith on the way for... oh, interesting. Stabled home. No blacksmith for Mystiori. He's adding a stable to counter these skirms. And a blacksmith now for Black Bear. So once a scout or two arrive here, these skirmishers, they cannot push out whatsoever as they'll get countered by the scouts. And then he's going to need to make spears, which in turn can be picked off by the skirms of Mistiori. So really the best response once you see your opponent adding... Oh, okay. You can add your own stable. That works. I was going to say the best response would be maybe to mix in a few archers. That way the scouts can't close in. Now, I could definitely tell like the micro wasn't as good back then. It probably was because there was a ton of ping, you know? Like, speed back then was very, very different. I feel like, you know, actually I was listening to Tato talk about Jordan 23. And first of all, I should say that he mentioned that Jordan is a lot better than he gives himself credit for right now. But even 3 years ago, when Jordan was at the very top next to Viper, or even ahead of Viper in some situations, there was more lag. There's less lag than ever now with the new Voodlian user patch. And he feels like players who can micro very well have a lot more of an edge than they did years ago. That's even more so applied to these players, because these guys were playing with massive lag. So yeah, stable for both players. In fact, 2 stables from Mistiori, stable at home and a stable forward. And here come the scouts, and a black bear, probably not surprising. Or not surprising. He's probably very surprised because he was not expecting. That's what I meant to say. Mistiori to go scouts as well. And his own scouts arrive. Now he does have this hill, and he's killing quite a few skirms from Mistiori. This is actually a very good engagement for him in the end. And he can use his scouts to go after the scout of Mistiori, and then he can finish off the skirms that Mistiori has. I feel the meta has changed even a lot the past few years. If I recall correctly, didn't see much man-at-arms in 2016. Yeah, it has. It's crazy how the meta has shifted from 2005 to 2010 to 2010 to 2015, and then 2015 to 2018. It is a timeless game. Like, you guys already know that because you're here, but it is a timeless game. The trouble is, in 2018, getting people to look past the age it was released and like the graphics, you know, and just to accept RTS games in general. Like, I tell my friends, like, I try and explain to my friends why this game's so good, and they just think, whoa, that's way too complicated than Overwatch, you know, which is true. It is definitely more complicated, but that's why it's beautiful. So from a spectator's perspective, at least, it is just so enjoyable, is it not? Black Bear has done an incredible job. Both players on 2 stable scouts. He's going for a counterattack now. And he might be able to find a few picks. Remember, the barracks is forward for Mistiori, which is why he's sending the spears back early, which is a smart move. It's almost like he expects this. He definitely expects it. And now both players going for towers. So this is so close. A few more scouts for Mistiori. No scout upgrades for either. Archers and skirms mixed in. Again, the beauty of Hun Wars is that you see what we are seeing here. You see multiple unit types in the feudal age, and the tower has been denied. Black Bear has definitely been the better player here, I have to say. Like, his fights have been so much stronger. He's defended well each time he's been attacked, and now he's going to hit the wood line. He should kill at least 1 villager here. Yeah, that villager will drop, and maybe 2, as the spears are next to the golds. That's going to be 2 dead villagers, 3 even. 3 might not happen, but so much idle time there. And great play from Black Bear so far. Ever hear of Kutztown? Yeah, I know a few friends who went to that college. It's about an hour away from me, G-Moonit. Yeah, this scout has been forgotten about. Might get lucky, but I doubt it because these guys are so good. Yeah, there we go. The scout will probably die to the TC and kill it! It's still alive somehow. Oh, rip. Okay, it's dead. Now, Bloodlines was just researched by Black Bear, so he is now 65 HP on his scouts instead of 45 HP. And oh, Mistiori's doing the same thing. And look how many numbers he has. 36 military versus 30 military. Now, the scouts are going to be so strong in the situation. Where did the... I thought that Black Bear had more scouts than this. Even though he had sent some forward, I guess he does not. He's now creating more to catch up. Yeah, if Scale Barding comes in for Mistiori, this could be so big. He's going for the Archer Armor instead. Now, this one little hill is actually huge. This hill will give a hill bonus to any of the units attacking on top of it. That's 25% more damage to the units of Mistiori. That is 25% less damage that Mistiori does. And I think with these numbers, it will be close, as this game has been so far. But I think that Black Bear will be just fine. And he's added tons of farms. We'll click up to Castle here after this Ville, I think. This would be when he's vulnerable. He's left the hill. He's clicked up. Now, if he loses this army, he'll lose all of his advantage. And Mistiori, his decision here is do the same thing and click up to Castle, or just make a ton more army. And that's what he's doing. He's making more scouts. This is what I like to call Feudal Age all-in. This is one of the most beautiful things in the game, in my opinion. And that's when one person clicks up to the next stage, and then the other person goes all in. And this is so beautiful when it happens, and this is going to be so big. So many free shots for Mistiori. The gold is exposed. The wood is exposed for Black Bear. I'm just looking at the military numbers. It is 43 to now below 30. And look at the scouts continuing to come in for Mistiori. This is the perfect time. And the skirmishers will get mopped up from behind. The skirms won't be able to kill the archers from Mistiori. And oh my goodness, what a cleanup. Could that timing have been any better for him? Absolute perfect timing. Now here's a quick panic tower from Black Bear, which will go up, but villagers will drop here. Now, the crazy thing is, Black Bear still has an opportunity. Sure, he's taken big losses, but the second he can make 3 knights, he can probably clean up this entire group. It's just that he's taking a lot of losses now. So Mistiori either decides, okay, I need to stop creating units and try and not be too far behind to the Castle Age, or I continue to create units and press on my advantage even more. And at the moment, he is creating spears, he's creating archers, and he has stopped with the scouts, but he's nowhere near clicking up to the next stage. He's killing plenty of villagers, taking out the tower, denying the gold, denying the wood. There are many, many times that the game is won right there. Like, that is that's what I call game sense. Just recognizing when your opponent's probably trying to click up and when to push. And then you have to think, okay, when do I stop creating feudal units? Because now, if he stops creating units, these knights will eventually be able to clean him up. So he's adding a lot of spears because of that, which is quite unique in this situation. And it only works because he has 2 forward barracks, 3 forward archer ranges, and 2 forward stables. Everything is actually close to this. Now, the spears have found the villagers on stone. That's not really where they're needed. And unfortunately, the knights now cleaning up all of the army for Mistiori here. Now, the base is extremely exposed for Mistiori. He does not have any barracks to build defensive spears. And, guys, he does not have the resources to click up to the next stage. That's mainly because he's still producing. He's producing archers. He's producing spears. Will that be enough? No +2 defense on the knights, but still bloodlines, 10+1 attack, and the first defense upgrade. I feel like this will be a Mistiori victory. Not the game, but this fight, rather. That's just a lot of spears, man. That is a lot of spears, and he has cleaned up the knights. Mistiori also sending in scouts, just being annoying on the farms. I'm sure there's weak villagers he could pick off. And Black Bear, you know, his economy took such a hit. He probably doesn't have many resources to create more knights. He has the Castle Age advantage. But man, this is very difficult for him now. More spears and archers just come in here. And this is a wise wall off, but of course there's a hole here. There's even a hole back then, my friends. And Mistiori is just not stopping. Pedal to the metal production. Even though he's only killed a vill or 2 here, he's idling the eco so much for Black Bear. Black Bear needs to roar back into this game, and with that, he's got to use his Castle Age techs. Like, maybe the Siege, maybe Archers, maybe Elite Skirm, but he doesn't have the resources for it. He does not have the gold. He can't approach this, really. That's the funny thing. There's so many spears and archers from Mistiori. He can't really approach this. And Mistiori is not stopping. He is not stopping. Light Cav countered. He cleaned that up. He's still producing scouts and archers. Now, in a normal all-in, players would have stopped by now. But he's continuing to do this. He knows that if he stops pressuring, that then all of these knights will be at his base and he'll have nothing to defend it with. Wow, what a game. And the Vil count is actually growing for Mistiori and it's lowering for Black Bear. 52 Vils, 70 for Mistiori. He has 18 villager lead. Black Bear, lots of weak Vils around here. I think he's just now cleaning this up, though. I think he's just now found the answer. Yeah, decent micro here. He made a few skirmishers to help versus spears. Really just needs to kill the spears, because then he can kill the archers. Yeah, I mean, despite the overwhelming numbers from Mistiori still coming his way, I think if he plugs the gap between the stables, yeah, he'll clean this up, and maybe he can then counterattack Mistiori. Now this is where Mistiori needs to see, I say needs to, but no, Mistiori is probably saying, don't tell me what I need to do. I am my own man. He's still producing, man. This is amazing. He does not need to stop and try and go to Castle Age. He needs to continue to produce. At 22 Andax says, lovely being able to finally watch you live. Appreciate your work greatly. Welcome to the stream, dude. I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. I mean, the scouts attack the skirms, and the spears attack the knights. The archers also sending in fire from behind. That's a composition that can actually win this. Now, the problem is the knights can kill the scouts and the archers, and the skirmishers can kill the spears. So there's a lot of moving parts. Again, this is why Hun Wars are beautiful, because we have different compositions, different groups. You need to focus on different things at all times. Micro, micro, micro. And again, this was in mid-2000s. This was with a lot of lag, crappy PCs, probably without any of the mods that I have today. Mistiori, almost 40 minutes into this game, he's at 40 military, and it's only 10 for Black Bear. He's fighting underneath the town center. He just does not care. He's underneath a tower and a town center. This is nuts. This is ridiculous.
19 months lower.
I mean, he just needs to keep the pressure on. Just needs to keep the pressure on. He ran right underneath the TC. He's sacrificing so many units, but he knows he's starving his opponent of so many resources. He's causing so much idle time. He's not going to be able to keep up with him, despite him being in Castle or just Feudal Age. He's producing out of every range. I mean, we can catch him on occasion falling behind with the production, but yeah, I look back and he's producing yet again. The KD is fantastic for Black Bear, but that doesn't tell the whole story, does it? The score is also a bit deceiving, I think, because so many units have been killed. Maybe, just maybe, this is the moment for Mistiori, or sorry, for Black Bear to roar across the map and start pushing out of hibernation. You know, hibernation mode is over. Let's branch out a little bit, explore the world. And if he hits any area of Mistiori's economy, this 20 Vil difference can easily be 60 to 60. The knights are going to do so much damage here. But, you know, the knights have left, and now Mistiori's back in. He's like, oh, you don't have knights here. Oh, that's great. I'll kill your whole economy. No golds? No wood soon? Villagers going into the TC. Black Bear trying to make some cav archers. I do like that. It's just down to if he can afford it. And you know what? The knights have had to come back. Black Bear going right back into hibernation mode again. You know, I should point out, let's pause it because this is a recorded game. I should point out what players can see, okay? So, you have to give credit to Mistiori for a lot of things in this game. Not just producing, not just the micro, not just the strategy choice and execution, but also some of the reasons behind this. You know, he's going to this gold, and the logic for Black Bear would normally be, okay, I need to find one of my other 2 golds. Here and here. Mistiori sees that. He also sees this stone. The stones don't really matter all that much, but the other stone's here. So, if he holds this area, there's no gold or no stone, and the wood is denied for Black Bear. That's something that Black Bear should know as well, I imagine. And yeah, he does. So, both players know the situation, and this Feudal Age all-in can be easily justified because of the location of the extra golds. Yeah, Orion Persians is Tato random tank. It is. I saw you referencing that other game. Oh, see, this is interesting. I think that back then, players used stand grounds a lot more often due to the fact that there was a lot of lag and you didn't want your units to accidentally run into harm's way, like those knights almost just did. If the cav archers can pick off these spears, and that was really good from Black Bear to, oh my goodness, look at the destruction. It was good from Black Bear to save his knights, but look at the archers, 62 military. Mistiori has more Feudal Age military than Black Bear has villagers. This is incredible. 2 or 3 villagers dying here. About 10 villagers dying in this area. Black Bear cannot get above 60 vills. He cannot fight Mistiori. Mistiori, he's all over him, guys. This is just nuts. He's actually setting the rally point for his stables on the farms. More villagers dying here. He's freaking all over Black Bear. This is crazy, man. This is absolutely ridiculous. Mistiori, again, just look at his eco. It's so exposed. It is imperative that he continues to push here because he's not in Castle Age and his base is exposed. If knights arrive, then he's in trouble. And so he continues to go in here. He just stops, and the spears are attacking the stable. The pointy boys are not suited for that. But yes, he has scouts, he has spears, he has archers. Now this TC is nice for Black Bear, protects his wood. But still, he's at 46 vills, and now he has 28 idols. More idols than he has working villagers. How frustrated would you be if you're purple? Can you imagine the frustration? You're killing so many units, you can't get to gold, and now Mistiori clicks up to Castle Age. So there we go. He finally clicks up. He's denied all the golds, and he thinks, okay, now would be my moment to click up. Now, I think that this is still going to be very difficult for Black Bear to pull off, but a Mangonel could do a lot of damage versus the spears and the archers. But you really can't justify making many Mangonels, and you couldn't have justified it earlier when there were so many scouts out for Mistiori. It would have just been a waste of resources. Wondrous is disappointed. I was expecting 200 population feudal. Well, this is the time to click up, man. This is the time to click up. And, now again, he needs to be careful, but, you know what? When Black Bear lacking the gold, doesn't quite have the gold to make a Mangonel. Lots of weak knights. The archer's just leaving. I think this was in reaction to seeing the Mangonel. And also, Mistiori wants to make sure he can hold this area. And boom, that archer, or sorry, that's not an archer. He might have been an archer in a previous life. I was going to say, boom, that villager will get shot down by the archers, and there you go. So, everything that Mistiori now has, 67 units, 49 minutes into the game, will be upgraded. He can then go light cav. He can go for crossbow. I want to see his resources. Yeah, look at all the techs coming in. Light cav. That's actually mainly eco techs. Yeah, bodkin arrow, crossbow. Could go pikeman as well. And now a forward siege workshop. So even though there's 2 tiles of gold left for purple, he only has 500 gold there. And he still needs to take this fight. And now he most definitely cannot. He cannot fight this now. He can go for his own pikeman, but the archer's there. He can try and use the cav archers versus the enemy spears, but the crossbows are here. And elite skirm won't work because of the light cav. This is the beauty of Hun Wars, because there's so many different counters that can come into play in Feudal Age and Castle Age. And then we get to witness the beautiful micro and the map awareness and all that. So this is good stuff. This is a very, very good game. Here's the Mangonel from Black Bear, and yep, as I said, not gonna do anything. And now the knights, they have to run away as the pikemen close in. There's a lot of crossbows, enough crossbows to micro down all those knights. And the score is deceiving because of the KD, but I feel like this game is pretty much over now. Assuming this Mangonel dies, I think every single military unit here for Black Bear dies. The battering rams, he doesn't even need Mangonels. The battering rams can kill the production buildings, kill the TC. He's still at 67 military. He has kept this up, and he's going to kill yet another Mangonel. Just like before in the Feudal Age, when his opponent was in Castle Age. He's sitting underneath this tower and underneath the TC. He does not care about it. Who cares about sacrificing numbers? It's about winning the war, not the battle. And this looks over, man. Maybe the reason Black Bear doesn't play anymore is because this is such a humiliating loss. Like, of course, Miss Yori is a fantastic player. I'm sure Black Bear is as well, or was as well. Nice Mangonel shot there. There we go. There we go. There we go. Still not enough, but just losing a game like this would be so frustrating because this is top class for Miss Yori. And he's gonna try and run, but he's just running to wood, and the TC dies. The next one will probably die. He doesn't have gold anymore, Black Bear. And he calls the GG. No surprise there. Miss Yori says GG. Black Bear says again. And Miss Yori says yes. Man, I wish that I could... The games on player profiles, they expire after a certain amount of time. I think it's about 3 months. So if the games weren't saved and posted on a website, then I wouldn't be able to have them. I wish I could see what that next game was. Because that was amazing. That was an amazing Feudal Age all-in. That is probably the best Feudal Age all-in I've seen. Look at the difference here. Look at the castle time difference. There was a 20 game time difference in the castle times. Miss Yori kept himself up above 60 military. He had spears, archers, and scouts that entire time, and it was so good that he denied the golds, he denied the stones, and he wasn't even touched at home, with the exception of the scouts. That was crazy. Wondrous says, best Feudal Age all-in you'll ever see. Wondrous, you know what, I was just gonna upload it as Miss Yori versus Black Bear, kind of a dumb game. That's what I was gonna put as my YouTube title, but now since you said that, I feel like best Feudal Age all-in you'll ever see sounds like a reasonable title. Hey, you're such a clickbaiter, Wondrous, but I'll go along with it because you're so supportive of the stream. Here's the timeline, if you're at all interested. Huge spikes in the military, no surprise for Miss Yori. I should go back to the KD, show you everything from the very beginning. 99.7% won't guess what pop this player goes to Castle Age with. Oh, it's so good. You guys are great. Largest army was just a huge difference. Eco, huge difference due to the extra villagers and the safety Miss Yori had. I did show you the uptime difference, the technology difference, not really that important. And the scouting was just down to scouting where the golds and stones were located there. And then there's the villager high. So, that was a fantastic game. And YouTube, despite what many might tell you in the YouTube comments, the people in the Twitch chat are actually real. They're not robots. So if you'd like to join the Not Robot group on Twitch, if you'd like to watch these games live, I stream 5 days a week for hours and hours and hours and hours. We have many people who are here right now who actually have come for the first time themselves. So look down in the video description, click the Twitch link, check out all the social media if you want to follow there as well, and I hope to see you in the future. Guys, shh, listen, I thought I programmed you all to say you're not a robot. Okay, I'm gonna have to work on that in the future. We'll cut this part out so YouTube can't hear it. Looks like I failed. All right, well, I'm going to continue to cast. Is that cool with you guys? That was an epic game. I'm going to continue to cast. Roy says, hey, T90, dropped in and say hello. Congrats on that 1 point above 2K. Thank you, Roy. I'm very, very proud about that. I'm going to hold on to that for a while. Hey, what's up, Discern? Salute to you as well. Justinian said hello from Pennsylvania. Where are you at in Pennsylvania, man? I'm in PA as well.